nothing there. It's just the war. Mokibogwa, please help me to share the program and invite as many people to join the discussion. My line is always available. We're not going to be using that number in case somebody wants to call in. My day has been fine after we left the 4.5 hours broadcast. I've had a very beautiful day. I've literally shaved, had my bath, and I was eating popcorn while I was watching the news from India, where there's a lot going on around the world. Like I always say, the world is a beautiful place, and until Yoruba people, Igbo people, Hausa people, Ijaw people understand that the world, apparently I've got my machine here, but this machine is always engaged with my son. He's always taking my laptop, you know, even though I've told him that this laptop, I should be the only one using it. But as usual, he's also busy using it sometimes. So Moki Bugo, you know what? And I'm sure if you have a son that is growing very fast, he's also going to be doing a lot of his own thing. Great time in the morning. Bishop told us about the kind of government that we have presently in Nigeria, and while it hasn't worked for anybody, and while it's not going to work for you as well. So I think I still have to start one more platform. We'll see how far it goes. Moki, Mr. Dewale Abdulwasil, Ibukuni Forile de Yoruba, Prince Adebayo Shitu Moki, Mofele Dumare Mofi. I think I should start the Twitter space as well, and hopefully I will find one of my, because somebody has just come in. I hope, I think that should be my wife anyway. So, who is that? Can you get, okay, let me quickly, I'm going to play something. I'm going to take this off so that nobody calls in, so that let me just quickly go downstairs, and I'm going to come back before the end of this video to my play. It's just one of the Gogo's video that we have listened to before. While we are appreciating what we have done so far, the work is not yet finished, it's not yet done. There is still a lot to cover. Actually, need a lot of ground to cover. Do not think that Yoruba, it is our responsibility, it is our role, it is our task to make sure that everybody knows, understand, and also believe that the only option on the table is Yoruba Koni independent country tier. So, like I said, many might not agree, but to need understanding. So what we are going to do is make sure they understand. So on all the platforms, just let me know in the comment section. Let's kickstart with Igbo reminding us about this.
pa Sẹ́ríkì Fúlàní pé ẹ wá wo ohun tí àwọn ọmọ yín ṣe lórí oko mi kò ẹ kó rí báyìí lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá mi wọ́n dẹ̀ dé lókun bẹ́ẹ̀ náà wọ́n dẹ̀ sábà àìmọye èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a lè morúkọ wọn àwọn Fúlàní yìí bẹ́ lórí tí wọ́n pa wọ́n jí àwọn kan gbé ẹni tó bá gbowó tó kéré lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ wọ́n gba 7 million wọ́n gba 10 million wọ́n gba 11 million lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá wa ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kò mí ó bà mí lọ́kàn jẹ́ gan bí tábà torí pẹ̀tọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ń gbà wá wa àwa ará àwọn ọmọ tí tẹ̀lé wa tó ń sáàbù fún wa àwọn tí ò lẹ́ni tí ó tẹ̀lé wọn kọ́ ìdílé tó mú mi lọ síbẹ̀ ìgbà tí mo lè débẹ̀ ohun tí mo lọ fún ni pé láti lọ bá pé sọ́gbọ́n tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí lórí ilẹ̀ wa sọ́dá ẹ ti ń gbé pẹ̀lú wa adébáyé gba yín àbáyéjà àṣekẹjàmbá fún yín ọ̀rọ̀ ni mò ń bá Sẹ́ríkì sọ̀rọ̀ làwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ yóò mọ̀ sí mo gba ìbọn yẹn lọ́wọ́ ìkan yọ àké àgbà ìkejì tún yọ ìbọn mi ìyẹn ti èyí ẹni bá wọnú fídíò yẹn tọ́ra fídíò wọn kò yìnbọn yẹn sí mi kí tó lóbọn yẹn mọ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ fídíò yẹn pé ìbọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dáhùn bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n yìnbọn sí mi ń bẹ̀ kí n tó ìbájà wa ẹni dúkù yìí nígbà bájà wa ẹ̀ ní dúró tẹ́ ẹ bá ti wá lè wá àtúnṣe sí ọ̀rọ̀ jíjígbé àti pípa àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa àtàwọn àti wa àwọn bọ̀dá wa àtàwọn yá mi àtàwọn bàbá mi tẹ̀sí wọn lóko mọ́ yìí o wọ́n tàkẹ́ forílẹ̀ bàbá wa lẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ bá ń pa yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kí sọ̀rọ̀ ọjà àwọn kẹ́gbẹ́ wọ́n fẹ́ pa àwọn kílọ̀kàmẹ́ka mùsùlùmí kílọ̀kàmẹ́ka kírísítẹ̀ kílọ̀kàmẹ́ka gbogbo tá à ń fà yìí èmi ò nídìí kankan aláfíà Yorùbá ni mò ń wá mi fẹ́ kankan bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n dúnkòkò tọ́pọ̀ jù wọ́n dúnkòkò tọ́lọ́ táwọn tí ń dúnkòkò náà mọ̀ bá wọn dúnkòkò ṣùgbọ́n ohun tí èjé kí ẹrù bà mí ni pé ó ń bẹ nínú Bíbélì pé tí ẹ bá ń jà fún ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ lórí nǹkan bàbá rẹ̀
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
tó bá kú síbẹ̀ kò sí kankan
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
torí pé ẹ mọ̀ pé òun kẹ̀ náà ṣe yẹn
fúngbà díẹ̀ ni
àti bí ìṣe rí sọ́rọ̀ ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ̀sìn ọdún pé ọ̀rọ̀ àti mo máa rẹ̀ sí ní sẹ́ni mẹ́sẹ̀jì oríṣiríṣi tó fẹ́ wá gbé sí
kí ló ṣe
ẹ̀rù kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nígbà nígbà ọba tó wà bẹ̀ pátápátá inú wọn dùn wọ́n sì fọwọ́ sí pé ìyá tí ń jẹ́ àwọn ìdí tó àwọn òfin fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá wọn pẹ́pàpẹ́pà ti tó àwọn tí wọ́n ń pa iná làwọn jọba lé lórí fídíò sí wa àwọn ọba ni wọ́n rìn pè mí pé ìyá tí ń jẹ́ àwọn yìí ti tó àwọn tí wọ́n ń pa àwọn ọmọ àwọn tó ń pa irọ́ dọ́ọ̀lá àwọn náà làwọn sì jọba lé lórí ó ti tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kò sí àgbààgbà Yorùbá tí nínú rẹ̀ tó sí pé kò sí náà ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n náà ni ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n bàbá wa ni inú tí wọ́n náà dùn bí wọ́n ṣe ń pa wá bí Fúlàní ṣe ń jí wa gbé tó ń gbowó lálá lọ́wọ́ lọ́wọ́ ọdún ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n kọ́ bà wọ́n yẹ wọ́n nípò bí tí wọ́n wà sẹ́wọ̀n yìí pé nígbà tí wọ́n ń jí àwọn aráàlú gẹ̀gẹ̀ gbé tí wọ́n ń pa wọ́n sẹ́ni kankan sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà yá wọ́n lọ jí ọmọ ọba gẹ̀gẹ̀ gbé ọmọ ọba ti bẹ lórí ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lẹ́ ọlọ́wọ́ wọ́n jí ọmọ bàbá gẹ̀gẹ̀ gbé fúnra ẹ̀ tó kọ́kọ́ díẹ̀ bí wọ́n sì gba 4 million lọ́wọ́ bàbá kan tó gbọ́ ọmọ bàbá fún bàbá àwọn Fúlàní torí pé ń bọ̀ ọba yá àyè ti gba àwọn Fúlàní ìdíbi pé wọ́n wá gbé ọba fún ẹ̀ náà àbí wọ́n ní kọ́ lọ kí wọ́n lọ dáwọ́ jọ àwa Yorùbá sì sùn a sì dákẹ́ a sì sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn bàbá wa dẹ̀ dákẹ́.
This was what led to the attack on the son and the proud Yoruba man known as Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. This was the genesis of him and Buhari, the Fulani man. Moki Babami, Egbowa, brother wa, Baba wa, Mr. Waris Jinadu. One greetings and all full-blooded Yoruba sons and daughters, nationalists on this Koikimedia platform. When I want keep one indigenous nationalists, we should be proud of that. We should never give in for anybody that are half-blooded Yoruba people. Àwọn tí wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ Yoruba. We must be proud of who we are, of our heritage, our culture, and we should never give in to anybody. Bàbá mi Joseph Boboye, mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà ní Libya. Mo kí ọpẹ́, mo kí Mr. Olakayode, good evening to you. Wọ́n ní White Lion, bàbá confam, ọmọ ọkọ Yorùbá gidi, no going back. Mo ní bó bá jẹ́ mi náà ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. Ní bá dalẹ̀ Yorùbá kí ilẹ̀ kó yọ̀ mí kó mú mi bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó bá jẹ́ pé mi ní bá dalẹ̀ at any point mo kẹ́yìn tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa kí la tún fẹ́ bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ lé lọ́rẹ́ nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí kò sí nǹkan méjì náà ní self-determination. We are very proud of ourselves, but the job is not yet completed. This is not the time to sleep. Kódà, this is the time to add more to what we have done and what we are still about to do. This is the time that we should add more. This is the time that we should increase the tempo, just as we started 4 years ago. This is not the time to say, àti ṣe program kan láàárọ̀ ó ti rẹ̀ mí mò ń lọ sùn. No, èmi fi ṣírò pé tó bá jẹ́ pé mo lọ ṣiṣẹ́ níta in this country. Mo kí bàbá mi Abiodun Wasiu. What are you doing? You okay? How are you? Love you. Good boy. Many of us do double shift. Kí ló ń pè ní double shift? Wàá ṣe láàárọ̀, wàá tún padà wá nírọ̀lẹ́, wàá tún lọ ṣe mí. I did that for many years after I got my papers in this country. Because when I didn't have my papers, I didn't have the opportunity to do a full-time job. Nígbà tí kò tí sí ìwé mi. But immediately I had my resident permit that gave me the privilege to work. I was doing double shift. I was doing one shift in the morning and I returned back and do the second shift in the night. So coming out again should not be a surprise to anybody. It's just the same thing I would have done, or I have done rather, at my previous jobs in the United Kingdom. What is the job? Iṣẹ́ wo la gbà nísìn? Iṣẹ́ kan tá gbà náà ni pé ìpolongo, ìyìnrere, ìdí pàtàkì tí Yorùbá ṣe láti ní country tiẹ̀ kó dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Ẹ̀yin náà ní àǹfààní àti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa from the comment section. We are reading your comments. From also the telephone line that is open as well. You can also engage on there. So mo kí yín pé krọ̀lẹ́ o ní United Kingdom. Tá bá ń sọ pé United Kingdom, ẹ máa rántí pé kò ń ṣe London ní United Kingdom. London is just a city. So normally you will say England. And tá bá dẹ̀ sọ pé England, a ní nínú England, a tún ní Wales, a ní Scotland. But I live in London and I've lived in London all my life. For the 25 years plus I've lived in this country. Since 1998. I've had privilege to have visited many towns and cities across the United Kingdom. And like I always say, it's a privilege to live in this country. And I'm very proud that I was one of many Nigerians that lived there and also made impact. Impact wale ma jade on the mainstream media, but I remember that at least my face was shown on the ITV news many years back when there was a crime that happened within a particular area somewhere in Edmonton, and I was there as one of the first journalists to cover it. So there was a particular TV station that came in and I was interviewed. Mo dẹ̀ láǹfààní láti appear lórí news wọn. There was another event that happened in Finsbury Park. It was a terrorist attack. And I was one of the first media to arrive on the scene. While I was doing my own live broadcast, a particular Australian TV channel had engagement with me. I have participated in many rallies to support many events against the British government. One that I can remember of out of the many is when they wanted to invade Iraq. There was a lot of protest in the country. I have worked within the Nigerian community from Odumewa, and I'm proud, and I never regret it. So out of my 2 decades plus in the UK, I have made myself known to the community within the Nigeria and other African countries as well, and other European countries and many others. So it's a privilege that I will now also be part of one of the most important tí a lè dúpẹ́ fún bàbá wa alànà Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè tó ṣí wa lọ́kàn pé what we should be working towards is for the Yoruba people to have their own independent Yoruba country outside Nigeria. So it's a big privilege, it's a bonus, and I cannot joke with that. Moki Mr. Lateef Owóṣeni, Prince Ọlárẹ̀wájú Abisogun, good evening to you, sir. Bàbá wa Boboye Timidayo sọ pé free Sunday Igboho, and please Tinubu unfreeze his account, free him to come back to his father's land. One day Igboho will return, but in a very glorious way. Just like when Tinubu returned back to Nigeria after being in exile for many years. Moki Baba mi Adeniyi Tunde. So ìdùnnú ló jẹ́ fún mi. When I joined, nobody forced me, nobody coerced me, and nobody paid me to start campaigning for the Yoruba cause. It's a privilege, and it's a clearing call. And I cannot joke with Yoruba people. There was the most intelligent people on earth. Very intelligent. But when we talk about intelligent people that have been in existence for thousands of years, I am proud to be one of them. And I pray that 2025 will open the door that will take us back home. I have no doubt about it. Yoruba Nation will happen in my lifetime, and the journey started 4 years ago to about 5 years. Some started it longer than us, but we have proved and showcased that we can do it under the leadership of Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, and that's exactly what we have done for 5 years continuously. There has been a lot of ups and downs. One of them was the attack to assassinate Igboho on the 1st of July. I would have been killed if I was met in his house. But the gods of Yoruba land, the Odua of Yoruba land, the Obatala, the Shangos, and my father was not sleeping. So I was not in that particular house on the day of the attack. Not that I am the smartest. Some say that I even made the setup, but that is for history to decide. But one thing is, I have said it behind him and in front of him that he will find me next to him on a daily basis, and that's why he has chosen me to be his spokesman. And the journey is not yet over until we can declare and put our flag on the soil of every part of our borders, flying high mast to say that Yoruba has become a full independent country. Regardless of whether the politicians agree or not, that must happen, and it must happen very fast. Muke Alex Mamu Otojo Meta, I'm sure you've been very busy with life. I am not here to talk about myself, because for my 40 years plus, I'm 40 years plus, I have enjoyed life. At least 25 years of my life living in the UK, I have had what they called freedom. Moki Mr. Ayinde Olademeji Ayola Jamiu Laba Moki Bubayi Muslims and Christians. Babawa Adebisi Boboye. Tinubu does the right thing to free Sunday Igboho and let the Yoruba free totally. Yoruba land is a country on its own before the fraudulent amalgamation. Moki Pro Femi Joseph Okunola Moki Bubayi Professor Tembeni Gbogbo University Nile Yoruba presently Tonkwe ní Nigeria. Moki Baba mi Kehinde Oseni Salami. Moki Enten darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí Twitter space, the MixLR, and also the Twitter where people are watching me right now. Please help me to retweet. it can help somebody awaken the spirit of either the Biafra, the Ijaw people, and the Hausa people, and most importantly, our Iromo-Alade. Do we have the entitlement? We can country tiwa. Yes, it is right that we have our country. America is a country, Great Britain, and it will remain great whether we agree with them or not, because their citizens want it to be great, and they will do everything to satisfy themselves, whether it will not satisfy the Yoruba people, the Biafra, the Ijaw, as it is being structured in a one Nigeria. So ìdùnnú ló jẹ́ fún mi láti jẹ́ kan náà àwọn tí ó ń jà ìjà tó dá, because èèyàn lè máa jà in the wrong fight and you might end up being killed. Ẹ̀mí wọ̀ ní bọ́ọ̀sì eléyìí tá gbé dání, gbogbo ẹni tó bá ní ẹ̀mí wa máa bọ́ sí, ẹ̀mí wọn ni ó máa bọ́ sínú ẹ̀. Ẹ̀mí tàwọ̀ ní já sínú nǹkan tá gbé dání, ẹ̀mí ìyàwó wọ̀ ní bọ́ sí, ẹ̀mí àwọn ọmọ tá bí àtàwọn tá ṣe máa bí, àti èmi àtẹ̀yìn gbogbo àjọ máa délẹ̀ lérí. And it is going to happen. So I don't want you to have it at the back of your mind pé kò ní ṣeé ṣe. Gbogbo ìgbà tẹ́ bá ti ń jí ní ojoojúmọ́ lówùúrọ̀, ẹ máa sọ pé ó ti ṣeé ṣe. Mo kí ní gbogbo ìlú Èkìtì, ní Adó Èkìtì precisely, bàbá mi Olúwọlé Ọ̀ṣọ́. We are burning a lot of your data, but that is part of the movement. Nígbà tá a bá délẹ̀ lérí, a lot of you will enjoy it and you will not have to worry for too much. Mo kí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí bàbá mi Fẹ́mi Joseph, Mr. Ṣẹ̀san Fáṣọlá, wọ́n ṣe àmì sádúrà yẹn. Ìran Yorùbá, ìran tí Ọlọ́run dá dáadáa ni, kò dẹ̀ sílùú tí kò mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run dá dáadáa. But as usual, a máa ń rá àwọn kan tó máa ń fẹ́ tẹ̀yàn rì. Mr. Abe Dairo, mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè mo fi kí yín, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin silent listeners, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́, mo kí yín, mo kí gbogbo lecturers tó ń bẹ ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó jọ ọmọkọ Yorùbá tó mọ ìtàn tó mọ history, mo kí Laji Abbas, mo kí gbogbo àwọn media tó wà nílé tí wọ́n fáǹfààní fún wọn láti lè ṣe tá à ń ṣe, ó wù wọ́n lọ́kàn pẹ̀lú bàbá wa Oríyọmí Hamzat. He was in London. You might not know, but we had the privilege to see each other. I will leave that for another day. I know where he stands, but I will just leave it for that right now. Èmi àti wọn ní picture Tajoya ní London, but let me just leave that for now. I know where every one of those media stand, whether they work with TVC. I am a good friend to Seun Okinbaloye. But one thing is, Moki Babami Ebun, Yusuf Abiodun, this fight has to be completed. That is the only joy. Tamari nínú ẹ̀. And John Noah Moki gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà ní Surulere. Okay, ìyá wa Abe Dairo, wọ́n ní mo kì í ṣọkùnrin, má mix me up. Mo kí bàbá, ìyá dáadáa, àwọn ìyá lálùbáríkà, àwọn ìyá tó mọ iye ọmọ, tó ń wo ọ̀nkán, tó mọ̀ pé lótìtọ́ lódodo ìjà tó dáná olóyè ń jà àti bàbá Kítóyè àtàwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ executive wọn. Èèyàn kan wà lè dájà. It has to be a collective fight, and that is the reason why we are making a clarion call. Mo kí ní Lugana, mo kí ní Abidjan, mo kí ní Benin Republic, mo kí Secretary Baba Adekwe Womo, Ọlọ́run àdásí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń béèrè pé ǹjẹ́ a lè gba Yorùbá nation tí kò ní mú ìjà dání? Yes, it is very, very possible, but it has to be a collective effort. It will minimize the risk on you and me. But how do we deliver the message? Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ni tó wà nínú oko tí wọ́n ti fi iná jẹ níyà for the last 40 years wọ́n rí iná dáadáa rí? Some of you have turned blind because you have not had enough power of light coming into your house. Some of you do not have good health care. Nigeria is a jungle, and I'll be telling you while I was away after the broadcast this morning, after finishing my calls in the house, washing the plates, doing what I need to do to help the family, taking my children to the library to pick up books. As I was in the library, I wasn't crying, but I was just looking at the environment and saying to myself, how my children are privileged to have been born here. They could have been born in Africa mostly in the jungle, and they will have to fight it through. My daughter picked up 3 books. My son picked up 1. The mother was not happy when we got back home. That is their problem, not mine. I have done mine by taking them there. From there, I went to buy rice, 10 kg. It cost me 25 pounds. Most of you will have loved to do the same thing in Yoruba land, whether in Ekiti State, whether in Ilorin, whether in Offa. It doesn't matter. In every part of Yoruba land, you would have also loved to do the same thing. Walk into the town center, go to the library, pick up the book, come out. Molosi CX. CX is an exchange where people buy second-hand product. I just go there. Once or for mommy, oh, go Yoruba dada, but we're trying. Money and love for you lonje. Only what does that mean? Money oju, kilele, only eyes. Money onje, only food. Oti yebe dear noni. And you can't force them. They will learn. Not that I can say Yoruba nile, but every children in the diaspora tend not to speak their language apart from the Pakistan and the India. They don't joke with that language. But reason Titiwa proved difficult, that has been the creation of Nigeria. So at the embedment, even though Yoruba le kama so lóòótọ́, ẹni tó wà ní Nigeria gan kò sọ Yoruba, ambos ibo so mo tó wà nílùú òyìnbó. Not that around tó ń sọ tó gbọ́ òwe dáadáa. We got in there, we were looking at all the showroom of what they have. I saw many things that I would love to have, but wọ́n ní tó bá ẹ̀ tí ní owó wàá kọ́ máa fún lóúnjẹ jẹ nìyẹn lọ́ ṣe ń pè ní window shopping. Right there, I know what I want to buy as soon as I have the money. But since I don't have the money, we walked in there, we took a bit of the time, and we walked out. From there, I went to the local shop and I picked up a 10 kg rice for $24.99. This is the kind of life you want to live as well. I'm sure that is just like my daily call. I'm sure, but that is the kind of life you want to live. Yes, in life, there will be people that are more richer than us. I want láti lọ sí store, láti lọ ra rice, wọ́n máa order ni. But we just want Yoruba people to have a quality life. Mo kí sister mi Arewa Akíkanjú èèyàn yìí. We love you, we appreciate you, but ká bá sọ pé love kò ṣe pé bí fífẹ́. I am happy with my wives. I am satisfied with them. But we appreciate all our sisters, our mothers, for going through a very rough time in the jungle. Why do we call Nigeria jungle? I was watching Nature, a movie. Well, it's not a movie, it's a documentary on the Netflix. It talks about different animals. And from elephant to lion to zebra to crocodile. And you can imagine all these animals have to survive. Tobawa nínú zoo ni wọ́n wà under control, but when they are left in the wilderness somewhere, I believe it's one of the African countries that the documentary was shot, but I can't remember where. They look more like Sudanese. Àwọn tó máa ń dúdú gan yẹn, tó máa ń ga yẹn. I'm not sure whether that is Ethiopia, but definitely it's somewhere in Africa that documentary was shot. It's a long one. I didn't finish watching it, but I was just trying to picture jungle. Aziz Shakiru mo fi tẹlẹdùmarè kẹ bàbá wa Kẹ́hìndé Salami ni wọ́n ti fi dàrúdàpọ̀ èdè wọn Nàìjíríà rádaràdá yẹn gba gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, and that is why a lot of us, even in the diaspora, àtẹ lucky pé àwa báyìí ṣì ń sọ. For me to be speaking Yoruba after 25 years plus out of Nigeria is a bonus, is a kudos. How do I translate it back to my children is a task ahead. They will learn, but it's still a task. Looking at that movie, well, not movie, documentary, because there's a movie, there's documentary, there's science fiction and all kind of things. I'm just giving you what has happened with me in the last few hours after 30 Misile. I came back home, not come back, mo ti mo wear, mo shave, mo lo mo lo body spray. Ẹlòmíì ò mọ tán pè ní body spray. You stink. Not because of anything. Ṣẹ́ni tó ìtì jẹun máa lo body spray. The body spray cost me almost £3. Whatever the equivalent of that in Nigeria today, púpọ̀ nù yín cannot even buy body spray to smell nice. Ìbẹ̀ tó bá tẹ̀ jẹun ló máa smell nice. I use the body spray. I use the aftershave. Very smelly one, very good one. I didn't use perfume because I wasn't going anywhere. And I went downstairs and I bought my popcorn out. And I sat there and I started watching this documentary about the animals. How do you think animals survive in the jungle if they are not under control, like in the zoo? Everybody wants to survive. The elephant wants to survive. The tiger wants to survive. The crocodile needs a food to survive. So crocodile náà máa ń dẹ àwọn animal tó fẹ́ gbanú omi kọjá. Tó bá ti ń lọ báyìí, á mú wọn lẹ́sẹ̀. Ó wá kọ ẹni tó fẹ́ gbà lẹ́nu ẹ̀. That is the country you are dealing with right now called Nigeria. So tẹ́ bá ń béèrè pé why is it taking so long pé ká tó gba country wa? Wọ́n ti mú gbogbo wa lẹ́nu báyìí. Àwa fẹ́ gbára wa sílẹ̀, and that means that ẹni tó mú wa lẹ́nu dání yẹn òun náà fi wá sílẹ̀, because tó bá fi wá sílẹ̀ ó máa gbádùn ayé tó kò ní gbádùn ayé tí kò ṣe pé wọ́n lè gbádùn ayé, because the money that politicians are stealing is too much for them and they might not be able to use it for the rest of their generation, but they just like stealing. Mo kí bàbá mi Mo Joe P. Mo kẹ́ ń tẹ́ wo mi lórí Instagram. Bàbá mi Waris Janoni, that is true. Prime Minister Modi spoke and addressed Bola Tinubu in Abuja in Indo language with a translator. He doesn't need an English because they throw English out of India so that it doesn't disturb their ways of life and their culture. And I'm talking about India because, like I said, I was watching my wife, the one in India, the wife that I've not met, Palikishama. Very brilliant presentation. But before I was watching that, I was watching that documentary and looking at all the animals and trying to figure out who can survive. But sometimes everybody survives. Kódà wọ́n ní ìgbẹ́ tó ń yà. Imagine we're talking about thousands and thousands of animals in one particular geographical area. Ìgbẹ́ tó ń yà gan oníṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe láti reproduce the fertile land. Because bó ṣe yàgbẹ́ yẹn á jẹ́ káwọn manure ìgbẹ́ yẹn kó jẹ́ kí koríko lè wù. Even the smallest ant has to survive. But we don't want to live in the jungle, because I'm sure our Yoruba àti pọ̀ ju jungle lọ. Waris Jinadu bàbá wa ní crocodile is the king of the swarm that lion king don't mess with. So we are dealing with a country that has been a jungle for 64 years, good 64 years without no kind of infrastructure. Many people have died that they are still meant to be alive. One of those that died is Dr. Chinelo. Rotimi Amechi said that she could have not died if we have put the security in place, but apparently she died, and many others on that train attack that occurred by the terrorists. But one thing about the world is that tí a bá ń dúró pé kí gbogbo nǹkan kó right ká tó lọ, it will be very difficult for us. Do you know that Trump is trying to renegotiate back with the Taliban? What an interesting time to be alive. And I'm not making this up. It is just the news I've just watched. China already have an embassy in Afghanistan. India has what they call báwo ló ṣe pé ti India ìmọ̀ like bèbí yẹn ó máa ń pọ́n tiwọn náà lé dáadáa kọ́lọ́ ń jẹ́ káwa náà tètè ní country wa tó yẹ pé tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá o gbọ́dọ̀ pọ́n Yorùbá lé tó o bá pọ́n lé a máa sákẹ́ as a government official. Tẹ́ bá lọ gbọ́ tí Palikishama tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ tó bá di ti bí India báyìí ó máa ń pọ́n lé ó máa ń fi ọ̀wọ̀ sí lára. When Igbo is talking about Yoruba people, one, if you're wasi, you can tell from the Arise TV, the banter that goes on there, because only expect Omo Igbo, who respect Yoruba. sometimes it shows in their program, but ọmọ Yorùbá tó fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá tẹ́ bá lọ wo Oríyọmí Hamzat program ẹ rí pé èdè Yorùbá tó máa ń sọ níbẹ̀ yẹn ó ń jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wá rìpọ́tì ara wọn. ẹ imagine tó wáyé pé Oríyọmí Hamzat ń sọ Haúsá ó fi ń ṣe program yẹn. The same thing with Bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ tẹ́ bá lọ wo Bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ adli lẹ máa rọ́mọ Yorùbá tó máa lọ síbẹ̀ tó máa feel comfortable because èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ló ń sọ níbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú broken. I hope you understand what I'm trying to pick up from there. Because ẹni tó bá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Oríyọmí Hamzat tó lọ rìpọ́tì kankan ó máa farabalẹ̀ ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn nítorí èdè tó ń lò. mo fẹ́ kí flag yẹn kó ṣubú ni kó lè ṣubú not because you know each time I come to my son's room I always love it because these are children that doesn't need to pay for anything. My son is a footballer, but he's not playing football anymore. Ẹ má bínú pé mo divert a little bit. Many of you do not understand what it means to be free. Mo léyàn kan tó yẹ pé ó ń wá gbogbo ọ̀nà tó fẹ́ fi wọ UK pé kó tẹ̀ wọ UK báyìí wọ́n rẹ́dì láti wọ́n ló gbọ́dọ̀ wọ UK kan tó lè fi sínú club. But look at my son now, he has no time for football anymore. I take him down to the football ground every Saturday like some few years back. But right now, he's not interested in football. Go to divert to another thing. And this is how freedom is all about. So when we talk about your future, that future should be now. But you are living in a jungle where you are. My son now doesn't have to die being a footballer because he has other options. And those options are working for him right now as a student. And I'll leave the rest. I've told you that he's also into his own little, you know, and to follow me back. One more intimate station, but I don't have to tell you. So what we are trying to say, I have to tell him to take it down and dust it. What dust it? He's a striker. But let me leave that for now. And it's not just one. He has many awards that he was given as a striker. One man Benny. Even at some point when I travel, yeah, money on my motor. That is one of his boots. So you can have the same privilege with your children, but they have been restricted because the future is no longer bright in that jungle. So everybody's trying to survive. I love this one. He has many like that. And this was when he was under 9, top goal scorer between 2015 and 2016. He was the top goal scorer. But like I said, he refused to go along with this football. This is another one. Odimelo Timothy showing. Odimelo. I hope you're counting it. And what is Sulo Repete? But this man is not playing football anymore. I would have loved him to play football so I can buy my. Imagine to buy Jekpe Mora Mercedes Benz. Ṣé lè máa sọ pé owó Yorùbá nation mo fi ra Mercedes Benz. Ẹni mọ̀ pé ọmọ mi ló ń gbá football tó ń tọ́jú mi. Mo kò gbá football mọ́ nísìn. But his life is still better because the future is there. But I am worried and concerned even about that future in this country for him. And that is the reason why I have decided to participate. And this one is a big one. You can see this one. This is another big one, like a World Cup. Twitter space. You can't see it. It's a big one. Big one, Lele. And this one was given to him in 2017-2018, under 11. I took it for long. So while I might saying all this is just because I just want to encourage us that we have a lot of work to do and we have to complete it. What do I mean by that? Yoruba country. How do we get it? It has to be a collective work. This is not the task of Igboho alone. Tani one campaign fún I know that people that are into politics, they are die-hearted people. Early campaign for round one yẹn because of the SSA, of the PA. So washing woboya àwọn náà lè rí nǹkan kan jí because politicians are criminals. Àwọn máa ń fi jalè ni. None of them have any future for you. Where are we when we talk about the war? Like I said earlier, after looking at the video of these events happening, unfolding with the nature, I now realize that human beings have to survive. But kò jẹ́ káwa struggle too much kó tó di pé a rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ. Èèyàn kan ní 4 trophy ni mo ti kó bọ́lẹ̀, and I think he has more than 20, and I'm not making this up. More than 20. Ó ń gbá ṣégè football. But again, that's another story for another day. That's it. Orí YouTube mo ti wo video yẹn, ni mo ti wo documentary yẹn. I have it in front of me. So if you want to go and check it out yourself, all you need to do is type in nature's moment. I'm watching it right now. I can't release the audio because of the copyright. And the one I was watching was produced 3 weeks ago with about 97,000 views. The headline is Why Serengeti, the endless chase of lion and buffalo, nature animal documentary. You can see that I don't make this up here. Àti kọjá ẹni tó máa parọ́ pé torí àwọn wá èmi wá followership pé à ń need the crowd. No, èmi wá àwọn authentic people tájọ fẹ́ gba Yorùbá country. Àwọn kan wà nílùú ìtẹ́ pé they are not gonna be interested. Kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n were interested. They don't want to have anything with Nigeria because Nigeria ti show wọn ní pẹ́pẹ́. There are some people like that. While there are some people that would be against pé kí Yorùbá kó dá dúró, those ones knows the truth. But they are just against it. Not that they're just against it for whatever reason. I'm not talking about the other ethnic indigenous people. I'm talking about our Yoruba Gongon. So watching this documentary, it shows that the life in the jungle, Nigeria, is not a life for you. Whether you accept it or not, we must take Yoruba nation on your behalf. Because you are not getting the fact that life Tongbe is not the kind of life. I can see all kind of animals, different animals. Let me see if I can see which country Lotishi documentary. Because sometimes you can read more from the writer. He didn't say. He didn't give me Ilu Totishe, maybe multi scroll. No, he did not. All right, but at least a lot of people have watched it. 1st of March, you know, uploaded. Number 1, do you think that it will be easy for the cameraman to get the kind of, somebody say, please encourage your boy with a football gift? Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Maybe for his next birthday. I mean, he's no longer in football, but he's in something else, but I don't want to share that on the social media. He's doing something else completely now. And he's doing very well, and we're encouraging him and we're supporting him as a family so that he can continue to grow. In Timothy nature, the elephant now, they are very robust animals. Their trunk can last a very long. I think they're about 4 foot or something like that. The question is, ǹjẹ́ bí Nàìjíríà ṣe wà yìí, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ disagree, ìjọ́ ogun lẹ́yìn rò pé Nàìjíríà máa lè sustain wa, tá máa kúrò nínú situation tá wà nú ẹ̀, and we can start living a kind of life like I have just narrated. We went to the library, we picked up the book, we did a window shopping. I picked up a 10 kg rice at $24.99, got back home, had a popcorn, had a shower, had the body spray, sat down. Not everything has been free. I still have to pay for all this service. Then I think one of my phone bill because I normally pay in advance. Monthly is some wolf man jasibe £2, £3. So when I looked at the one of them, the O2 only moje £2. Musari son £2 something. Then I think my Virgin, I'm owing £18 that I need just to pay. No, £18. Loma charge me April 3rd. But the full bill is about £43. But what I do is I normally add money to the account so that Toba Mafi Day, Marty was a little bit relaxed. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this life, time being in Nigeria, are we living our fullest life or we are living a fake life? In time being in Nigeria, Tefede can maintain. We are not blaming Tinubu for the crisis and the mess that Nigeria has found itself because Tinubu only came in about a few years ago. Nigeria has been destroyed economically. Nigeria has been destroyed spiritually. Nigeria has been designed not to work for any Nigerian. It's a fact. Whether you believe that or not is not my problem, it's yours. But the fact is that should we as Yoruba people, the learned people, àwọn èèyàn yìí, Mr. Lateef sọ pé even in 1,000 years that country will not work. Moki Mr. Adura Femo. In 1,000 years is just even too long. Even if Tinubu did redesign Nigeria to work, it will eventually fail and collapse quickly. And we cannot play with our lives being messed up. Mo ń wo nǹkan kan lórí Twitter tó ń pè ní X. I think one of the radio stations in Nigeria, somebody cut that section. But boy, I prefer to be inside the Algeria prison than to be returned back to Nigeria. Not everybody would leave Nigeria. Some are in Nigeria and they can be successful. But the system, I keep telling you, Fulani is just part of the people that we can push back. But we are talking about how do we want to be part of the player in the world economy as Yoruba people. Because, like I said, the news I was watching that I've just finished. Let me see if I can pull it up in a minute. India and America are trading about 70 billion US dollars. Yes, I'm sure that is what I heard in the news, even though I might be wrong with the figure. But I'm just going to play the video in a minute. Trump trade war. India moves easing China trade curbs. Indian game plan. Donald Trump says that you charge us high tariff, we will charge you back as well. The Indian Prime Minister will be visiting Sri Lanka next week. But right now, what is India game's plan as Trump is also what Trump and the game between India is going to happen is that there is a lot between the two of them. Between the two of them, there is a big, massive trade war. So the bands of Fulani, those are just security. Yes, we know their agenda. And we know what their agenda is all about. But their agenda can be dealt with if we leave Nigeria. Taba fi Nigeria sile, we can deal with that and stop the agenda. That's number one. But ipa wo ni a fe play as Yoruba people in the future world that we are living today, do you know that they are already preparing for the 6G? Already we have the 5G. The 6G will be completely bad. Role wo ni ìran Yorùbá náà fẹ́ play lágbàáyé? Role wo la fẹ́ play? Role wo ni a fẹ́ play lágbàáyé? Mo kí ẹ just reason. What role do you want to play to the world that we are living today, or you just want to be there and you don't want to play a role as a Yoruba people, as a Yoruba country? I'm sure a lot of us wants to play a role. But the only way ta fi lè rí role yẹn play òun ni pé ká exit Nigeria, ká ní independent country tiwa tó ń pè ní orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mo kí Mr. Akim Oladeji, mo kí Mr. Nurudeen Akimoyede, mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ní gbogbo ibi tẹ́ ti ń gbọ́ ohùn wa. Let's go and listen to April 2nd, because Trump says, I'm not going to use April 1st because people will take it as a joke. They can say that it's April Fool. Within the next week, there is going to be a lot of trade tariff changing. America, and you charge us 100%, we will charge you back 100%. That is creating a lot of problem around the world right now. But ipa wo làwa náà fẹ́ play? What is our role? Everybody has a role to play in making a society and a country to work. Gbogbo role tí gbogbo àwọn parents wa play nínú Nigeria has failed every one of us. They tried their best. Moki Ola 20 ages. They tried their best. They did try their best. But their best did not work. Do you know why? Their best did not work. Have you ever thought of why? Because if their best was good, a lot of our lives would be better today. They worked hard. Our parents worked very hard. They threw everything to make things to work. But what failed them is that they were in the wrong country. And that country had a big impact in their lives today. And for us not to repeat the same thing with the generation to grow in sin, we have to do whatever it takes to pull that structure down. Olatunji Riluwa Moki, whatever it takes, we have to do it. Whatever it takes. And that's exactly what we are doing under the leadership of Professor Akitoye. Moki Mr. Kola Adams. Gbogbo tó bá gbà náà là ń ṣe. But we have not yet completed the task. That means we must not fail. Because the task ahead is big. So let's go quickly. Moki Mr. Kola Adams. One equator baba mi Igbowo for life. There's no doubt about it. Igbowo will play his role. Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n náà máa ready láti play role tiẹ̀? Baba Akitoye is already playing his role. Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n náà fẹ́ play role tiẹ̀? Èmi ń play role tèmi. Ǹjẹ́ yín náà máa play role tiyín? Àwa gbọ́dọ̀ jọ play role yẹn so that we can succeed together. and we're definitely going to do that. Now, let's listen to Trump's trade war, pushing India closer to China. Our re-SC in Ramwalade Mukinya Kabo Ekrole. Share the program. We might just probably spend like 2 hours, and the time runs very fast. I believe we have already done 1 hour. You'll be surprised at the way time flies. Let's listen to this.
April 2 is fast approaching, and with it are Trump's tariffs. Traders and economists have been dreading this date. India, like many other trade partners of the US, is on the tenterhooks. Will these tariffs force New Delhi to pivot to China? That's what we'll discuss.
Do you know that having a Yoruba country right now, Mokiyami First Bank, Ekabo, Otujometa, our grandchildren call at the quarter two. I believe the weather is changing gradually, but already America only weather was bad today. The UK one is at least more water so the weather is not too bad, but it's still cold. In Jamokwe, if we do everything possibly best and we can get our country now, India will be working towards to work with us as a new trade partner. Not that they are not working with Nigeria right now, but we can be giving them a better deal. And we can be the one where trade by barter, both countries, a Yoruba country and India, are working together for the successful of humanity. Kò ń ṣe pé kí India nìkan máa kó gbogbo dumping ground wọn wá láti India kan wá drop ẹ̀ sí Nigeria and also disrespect you as Yoruba people. From what we've heard, gbogbo iléeṣẹ́ tó jẹ́ ti India nísìn wọ́n fún yín ní ẹ̀tọ́ yín. All that is not going to happen. This is what they call we are fake back country. So in time play lọ nísìn òun ni tán pè ní the trade war between America and the rest of the world, because of the tariff change that is coming up on the 2nd of April. So many, when are you going to start? So many countries might not be able to cope. So they have to look for alternative. So having our own independent Yoruba country will be a good privilege. Mr. Kolawole Omosona Mokinye Kabo. We are almost there. Like I said, it's not going to be a long program. It might not even be up to 2 hours. So we'll see how it goes.
Tonight, but first, let's look at what is coming. This is the threat that Trump has been making for weeks now.
So on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them.
Whatever you tariff us, we will tariff you back. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní you do me, I do you. Kí lẹ ẹ bá ń parí òwe yẹn. But what is playing out in Nigeria today is that one particular ethnic group, Fulani, have been empowered to suppress the rest of the indigenous people. One of those empowered is Dangote. Dangote was empowered to destroy the rest of the Yoruba businesses. One of those also empowered are the people from the southeast. What empower or not? Because we own the banking sector. This is not about anything, it's a fact. But we are no longer in the banking sector. We have been chased out completely. Gbogbo banking sector ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó wà established is no longer our own. And I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about. It might not feel comfortable with some people, but that is a fact. The business people are the Igbo people. No, the Yorubas have been running businesses, because I know my mom has been running business for a very long time before I was born in the 70s. So don't come and tell me that the Igbos are the one running businesses. No, I disagree with you. And my mom has been to more than 23 countries around the world, including China. But when the indigenous people have not been given the privilege inside their own territory, supporting them by their government, rather, we have been kicked out. One of those kicked out was my mom. Àwọn tó ń pè ní North took advantage of the weapon that they had in their hands, that the Britain told them that in anything you do, Britain told them that do not leave the weapon alone. Make sure that ìbọn wà lọ́wọ́ yín at all interval, and that is why the North Fulanis kept hold on to the military. And for that purpose, a lot of us and our parents were destroyed completely. Gbogbo tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ ṣe pátá was destroyed. NTA does not belong to the federal government. Àwa la ní. Mo kí ẹ Azeez Gbadesere èèyàn yìí. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa. Even though he's busy right now, he will still comment. But I can tell you that tó bá wọlé lóru, program mi ló máa fi sùn. Ó lè wá gbé bí àlè lórí o. But kò ní wò nǹkan kan míì. Program tèmi ló máa wò last kó tó lọ sùn. I know that. Ọlọ́run bá ń dúró tiẹ̀. So what we are saying is that many Yoruba people do not understand and emphasize the bigger picture of how we can have a cordial relationship with many countries, especially as the world is turning around. If Donald Trump, and I'm not making this up, is also in this particular news bulletin. The private bank on Nigeria is Agbomagba Bank. Now is called Wema Bank, owned by the Yorubas. Igwe tó kú yẹn. Igwe tó kú, ẹ rántí bọ̀bọ̀ tó kú yẹn, tó kú nínú helicopter pẹ̀lú ọmọ ẹ̀. Ṣebí ṣé GTB Bank ní àbí? We know how all those deals have been done to kick out the Yoruba people, destroy all our factories, and brought in other people, and they say that Access Bank, Eshigoni Bishop Adeshino. Bishop knows what I'm talking about because he's into that sector. The Yoruba people were not given good ground to survive. And those that we expect that will do the needful so that we can survive have sold us out to the same people that are oppressing us from the north. So Gbogbole Yoruba have been dominated, and we don't have a say anymore. When do you start? Princess, when are you going to start? Oh, okay, all right. Olè làwọn Igwe. I don't care whether he died in a helicopter crash. That is his own cup of tea. They destroyed the Yoruba people. B.S. Songoloke, who knows? Access Bank swallowed Intercontinental Bank owned by a Yoruba man. And we are not happy with such. A Yoruba government must protect the indigenous people first. That is the reason why Tashigbodogba country. Having our own country will mean that our interest must be protected against the Igbos, the Hausas, the Fulanis, the Ijaws. Interest wa government. The UK government dare not put the interest of the Italian farmers against the British farmer. That would destroy this country as quickly as possible. They dare not. I hope I'm making sense. If I'm making sense, help me in the comment section. But Omo Yoruba more, the game that they've done. Yami Kontimankwe in the First Bank. She understands what I'm talking about because she retired in the first. I'm not going to give you her name. She's watching me right now. The Yoruba people were destroyed from inside and outside. Wọ́n gba ilẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó nílẹ̀. Wọ́n gbé fún Dangote. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sanwó kankan fún àwọn tó nílẹ̀. Tí Dangote fi hàn pray. Do you know what that means? Táwa tẹ̀ ká tẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn ò ní owó láti fi build a refinery. But this is our ancestral land. That ancestral land is valued more than the Dangote refinery. Whatever the cost of the refinery, I don't give a bullshit. That ancestral land tí wọ́n jí gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó nílẹ̀ yẹn. Mo kí ẹ àṣírí kọ̀kọ̀ Elédùmarè. Aziz Shakiru mo kí ẹ. Mo kí Mr. Paula Adams. Wọ́n ní òdodo ọ̀rọ̀ bàbá. Who are those behind all this? You think it's just those that are internal? They are also externals. The foreign power brokers like Babami. I like Babawa Waris Jinadu. If you go and look at all his comment in the last 4 years, it has always been so. Yoruba, we find things difficult to understand quickly. We are fighting a government and we are still pumping it with our money. Take our money out of Nigeria, Nigeria will be destroyed within 1 week. Yoruba land restitution with the full autonomy. We can deal with anybody, and if they don't want to be dealt with, they have the right to leave our land. I got a call from somebody from Libya. Not a call, it was a voice message. Wọ́n ní bàbá mi Koiki, mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi brother mi bàbá wa Jimmy Koya. Wọ́n ní Koito sir. Wọ́n ní Mr. Koiki, wọ́n yọ wá lẹ́nu ní Libya. Mo ní ṣe Libya jẹ́gẹ́ bí ilé bàbá tiwa. That is what I sent back to him. Libya does not belong to us. A lọ survive débẹ̀ ni. Tí ilẹ̀ wa bá jẹ́ ilẹ̀ tó tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún wa. Do you know that Libya doesn't have a government for many years and their life is what's better? So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ lọ síbẹ̀ wọ́n máa fi ń ṣe tó bá wù wọ́n because ẹ̀yin tẹ́ lọ bá wọn nílùú wọn. So let's go back to this trade war. So you can say that our Yoruba ti wà in the deep mess for a very long time because the whole structure. Program we talked about how in 2002 a particular Yoruba elder visited Obasanjo and he said to them that why should I want to go in line with Awolowo policy? Because kò ń ṣe full-blooded ọmọ Yoruba. Kò tó bá jẹ́ pé full-blooded Yoruba ni kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Bishop Adesina also says, and I quote, the reason why we are reading comment is because we are not streaming on the live software. So àwọn tó ń ka ilé nísìnyí àwọn tó wà lórí Facebook wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ tí and comment. Wọ́n ní Awolowo uses Yoruba people's shares of the western region of Nigeria to pioneer the First Bank. Today, all the board directors in the First Bank are northerners. Clement Muke, brother Midada. This does not mean that we are having clash with the Igbos. No. This does not mean that we are having clash with the Hausa. It has to be the Igbo first in their own region. I don't want any Yoruba people to go and dominate their region as well. In terms of, it has to be them first before us. The British come first. The British will not employ you after you get to a certain stage in some particular sector. Oh, to be. Omakape. You might think that, but Rishi Sunak was the prime minister. That is what you are thinking. But you saw what happened. He was kicked out quickly. Whether Kemi Adeosun will become the prime minister, what will be, he have to wait. There's not going to be any election now until 3 years from now. That is if he is still the opposition leader as at the time. I lived there for 25 years. I know what the English people would do. They don't joke when it comes to their power. Adeyinka's grandson talks about this particular gray area very well more than me. He's an expert. I cannot doubt it. I can challenge him on that. He normally used the word English people. They would not give the Scottish people the room. Gordon Brown was a man that I met under the Tony Blair when I came to this country in 1998. He was a Scottish. When the election came for people to vote, they didn't vote him. But the same English deceived the Scottish people to remain in this union. The same English people, what deceived and was Scottish. Don't pay now on Scotland. But let us remain in the union, but we will not leave European Union. And that was a deceit. That was a lie. So whatever we do, the Yoruba must come first. That would not say that we would not have cordial relationship with our neighbors. Do you know that as of today, Trump wants to start engagement with the Taliban? I will tell you where in this particular broadcast. You know why? Because Trump is already emphasizing the business deal that China and the coffee Jenino area here, because in Tofinshe battery Oponi Afghanistan. It's all about trade war. So when you look at Nigeria and you want to die for Nigeria, you are not going to be part of the people that will enjoy it, because you are just part of the statistics under the IMF and the World Bank and the WHO. But for us to be serious Yoruba people, an ancestral land was sold to Dangote to build a refinery. But the people that owns that ancestral land did not even get a penny out of it, because things were done the shady way. Do you know that you cannot just build a motorway in the UK if the people that own the land has not been fully consulted and paid to the value of how long? You know that's how it works. The Crossrail network that they are building right now in the UK that has gone more than their budget. Towns and villages, a lot of negotiation happened before they can even say, all these never happen in a jungle like Nigeria. I think there's a caller coming through. I don't know about that's it. Hello, caller. All right, on testing number. Hello, me man, testing number. So what we are trying to project, what we are trying to on staff me, because like I said to them, when I'm live, or easy for me count if I may post the link here so that can me share see or status me. And it is on Mr. Daniel Muki, Mr. I Drop Giant, brother, can you please say flotation device? I don't know what that means. Maybe you might want to explain yourself a little bit better. Not that I just omit your comment, but I didn't understand what that comment or what it means or where it's coming from. So, Emma Binu. Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, lára àwọn ajìjàǹgbara fún ọmọ Yorùbá tó fẹ́ gba country tiwọn. Yoruba difficult for me nígbà mi, you know. Sometimes to process it is a big job for me. Ẹ má bínú. It's a big job to process Yoruba. What we are discussing today, this evening, Moki Mr. Oyewole, Moki Bugwentawa in Liverpool, Luton, Milton Keynes, Birmingham, Moki Bugwa India, America. I like to hear Nigerian people say certain words. Okay. So you are testing me as well. So what do you say I should say? Let me read it. Flotation. Floatation. Flotation. Did I pronounce it very well? I hope I did. Floatation. Thank you so much. So what I'm trying to say this evening is not to attack our other brothers and sisters from the north that are Hausas or the Igbos that are Biafra or the Ijaw people, but ẹ ṣé gan ni wọ́n ní mo gbìyànjú. Ẹ má parọ́ ṣé mo gbìyànjú àbí you know, I didn't pass English when I was in school. I didn't know that when you bring the result here, it's as useless as tissue paper. Once again, thank you so much. Mo kí our Grace Olushoto. One good day to you, my darling Olayomi Koiki. Èmi ni gbogbo ọkọ ìyá àwọn Oòduà. Gbogbo àwọn ìyá yẹn mi lọ́kọ wọn. Ìyẹn kọ́kàn dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ bá mi jà sí. Èmi nìkan ni. Gbogbo wọn ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi báyìí. Tó bá pè mí, tó bá máa ń fi fóònù mi sí speaker tó bá pè, máa fi tease ìyàwó mi. Ṣòro pé wọ́n nìkan ni ìyàwó mi ni. Gbogbo àwọn ìyá tó ń pè èmi lọ́kọ wọn o. Ọkọ mi báwo ni? Ìyàwó mi a máa wojú mi báyìí ní yes. Mo sọ fún ẹ náà. Èmi ni máa mọ mú gbogbo àwọn ìyá yẹn. Ọlọ́run bá ń dá gbogbo ìyá yìí sí. Àjọ máa délẹ̀ lérí ni ikú kan pa anybody. And I'm trying to be calm because ìyàwó mi ti warn mi pé ṣé kò ń ṣe pé ilé tí mo ti wọṣọ military mo fi lọ gbàgbàgbàgbà mo ní náà. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo program la máa jáde la máa ṣe pé. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo program ni máa jáde ni máa ṣe bí jàgídíjàgan. Ọpọlọ ń bẹ lórí mi. Tí bá fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ calm lórí program mi, máa jẹ́ kẹ́ calm. Tí bá fẹ́ gbé lọ sí irú tàárọ̀ yìí, mo gbé lọ síbi tó yẹ pé nǹkan ó yẹ yín. Bó ilé tá à ń sọ yìí, à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa trade business. Kó tẹ̀ bí a bishop ò sí lé mi ẹ̀kọ́ yẹ kí bishop ti bá mi gba díẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ tẹ̀ ti jẹ́ kí èmi náà kí n dákẹ́ díẹ̀. We're talking about trade. India ń bá America ṣòwò. Many countries ń bá America ṣòwò. Ǹjẹ́ àwa náà fẹ́ bá àwọn àgbáyé ṣòwò? Àbí a fẹ́ wà nínú kí community méjì máa bára wọn jà? Mo tún bẹ̀ yín ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀yin ìlú méjèèjì tí ẹ̀ ń bára yín jà. Mo mọ̀ pé ẹ lè má gbọ́ broadcast mi, but mo mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ ìlú kọ̀ọ̀kan tó jẹ́ both side. Èmi ò gbèsè ní kankan. I am not gbèsè ní kankan. I am pleading that this is not the time that two Yoruba communities should be fighting. This àsìkò yẹn kọ́ lélẹ̀. A ti wà nínú real danger. Ẹ ń gbèjà ìyàwó yín. Ẹ máa wo màmá yìí. Honey, please don't scare my wife for me o. She's always the champion of all. No. Gbọ̀ngàn ìyá Oòduà yẹn ni o. Ọkọ mi, o tẹ̀ ní ìyàwó kan báyìí. Ọkọ mi, ǹtí máa fi gbọ́ nìyẹn. Ọkọ mi, mo kí arẹwà kíkanjú. I need a car number Ẹwà Romania. Kò yé mi tẹ́sọ̀. Angel, I need a car number. Èdè wo tún nìyẹn kí n bọ́lẹ̀ tún fi gbé wa lọ báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sọ́dọ̀ ìyàwó mi Paliki Sharma. Trump ní láti on the 2nd of April there will be most of àwọn tó wà nílé kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ nípa trade. Kí ló ń pè ní trade? Káràkátà. Èyí tẹ́ ń tà tẹ́ ń rà yẹn ló kàṣe ni. Àwa ti ń ro bí ìran Yorùbá ṣe máa ní great export of products tan produce tí àgbáyé need. Kò ń ṣe pé kó wá máa sọ́ọ̀kì wá dry, kó máa gba resources, kó máa gbé lọ sí China, kó máa gbé lọ sí India, kó wá refine ẹ̀ tán kí Tinubu àtàwọn ẹ̀mẹ̀wẹ̀, and I don't want to curse anybody tonight like I said, I want to be as calm as possible. Kó refine epo tán ní abroad, kó dá padà wá gbogbo ìyẹn no, we don't want that kind of. America ní, the reason why America is very, very hard, I mean Trump rather, only look, come and invest in America. We give you good deal. Ẹ wá produce kini ní, this is my airport. Come and produce it, you know, in America. Mo tún fẹ́ wo nǹkan mi. Wipes yìí. This is a great wipes. Mo bá wọn polówó baby wipes. Come and produce it in America. Whatever you can think of. Ẹ wá dá ilé-iṣẹ́ sílẹ̀. Kí ló ṣe kíní nísìnyí? Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀yin wa. Ẹ wá dá ilé-iṣẹ́ sílẹ̀ nínú America. We will give you the best. But ẹ má lọ produce ẹ̀ níta kẹ́ wá ta padà fún wa. Ẹ tún wá ń jà wá lólè indirectly by putting higher tariff on our own product tabako wá sí ìlú yín kò lè work. In tó ń fa ìjà láàrin Donald Trump mo ní bíbá international platform yín, right? I know what I'm talking about because many Yoruba people need to understand that some of the things that we are doing today that we are struggling with in what kódà tó bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé fáàmì ẹnìkan la bá tẹ̀ wá la wá tidy up pé oko tá à ń ṣe àwa tidy up ìgbà mélòó lọ́ fi ń dá Amẹ́ríkà cargo plane ní ó ní channel kan ti máa ń wò bọ̀bọ̀ kan wà lamẹ́ríkà àwọn tó máa ń ṣe tó máa ń shoot airplane aircraft that particular airport ó wà ní Amẹ́ríkà ó dà pé mo rò pé normal flight ń débẹ̀ gbogbo tí máa kàn rí ni cargo kìíní kan gbogbo àwọn aircraft yẹn they are cargos they are moving goods in and out of that particular airport so bí i Dallas ló wà tí bá jókòó èrò dẹ̀ máa ń wo bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn gan oríṣiríṣi nǹkan lolúkálukú ń ṣe tọ́lọ̀ bá ti fi àmì sí i tí wọ́n ń ṣe yẹn aṣọ tó ń rán yẹn tó ń rò pé local ló ti fẹ́ ta náà kò ń ṣe local láti nídẹ̀ẹ́ kó bá wa tà àwa náà fẹ́ supply ẹ̀ lọ sí ṣinṣin ni bí àwọn tó ń rán wa mo ti pàdánù bó ṣe wà yẹn in tó ń ṣe yẹn àwa náà fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ó jẹ́ intermatter not even in Africa across the world is a big place ilé ayé tóbi gan ju pé ká wá restrain ara wa within the confinement of a country that is holding us back from progressing. Wọ́n fi gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ wọ́n ń ṣe jàǹbá fún wa wọ́n tún wá ń sọ pé àwọn làwọn bẹ́tà jù àwa lọ lórí ilẹ̀ wa no kò lè work mọ́. Àwọn olóṣèlú ti fìyẹn parọ́ fún yín for a very long time but we need to correct that and the only way we can correct it now is to have our own country. Mo kí Mr. Peter Alade ẹ bá mi share program yìí Ajani Akin ó ní international journalist Koikimedia Mr. Fatai Mọ́tájọ́ mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè mo fi kí yẹn krọ́lẹ̀ ní aago méje fi lọ́lù lọ́dọ̀ tiwa ní ìlú òyìnbó Akin mo kí ẹlẹ́nkan sí o Ajani mo kí Ajani Àjàlá ní gbogbo Libya ọwọ́ ẹ̀ ló wà mo kí Babátúndé Owóṣẹ̀yẹ mo kí àwọn staff wa Àyìndé Usman mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè kí yín o ẹ má bínú púpọ̀ kí n torí àwọn comments yín because back end lẹ́yìn wà. Our Grace ni everything can be done in Nigeria too but our politicians didn't want anything to work. It cannot even work because the structure of the way Nigeria was designed will not allow it to work. So let's move swiftly and kagbodi esinipa this tariff between Trump and the rest of the world. But we are using India as our case study. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. You've never seen me before. I am one of those that are campaigning for Nigeria to be divided so that the Yoruba people, the Biafra, the Ijaw, and the Hausas can all have their own independent country. Don't tell me that we have to be one. We are not one. We can never be one. And don't give me excuses that, oh, I am married to Yoruba and Igbo. That is an immigration policy that will be dealt with. Those people will be given a resident permit to live within Yoruba land when we have our independent Yoruba country. And it can happen in 2025 with all our efforts that we are pushing through. Only ṣẹlẹ̀ in 2025. Baba Akintoye has every right to declare Yoruba nation in 2025 if we all make all the effort now. March lawa. And we are in the first quarter of the year. Our business has nothing to do with the election of 2027. We are not interested in any more election in Yoruba land. Adams Olamilekoni, let them go and see Burkina Faso how things is turning good. So let's go back and listen to Palikishama.
We will. If you're looking for shoe insoles that work, you need to watch this first.
You can't stop that.
You have to be prepared that you'll be
kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them.
Bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn. Whatever you tariff us, àwa náà máa tariff yín, Bámidélé Ali mo kí yín. Let's go back again.
What they charge us, we will charge them. That is Trump's logic, and this approach has shaped all his moves. He is targeting both friends and foes, including U.S. neighbors like Mexico and Canada, America's biggest trading partner and rival China, and America's old ally Europe. They've all been slapped with reciprocal tariffs. And by the looks of it, India could be next. Trump has complained a lot about India. He's been doing it since his first term in office, although then, during his first term, India managed to avoid the tariffs. But this time, the situation feels different.
The situation feels different because ìjọba mi ló wà lórí oyè. The reason why we have been able to embrace what we are holding on to right now is because kò ń ṣe the same template àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re tó ń sọ fún wa pé àwọn wá restructure la dúró lé lórí money sin, because we now realize that gbogbo yẹn fàbú ni. They might have good intention, but it was never going to work. Because èmi kàn mọ̀ ní fídíò yìí, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. I want to take us now to the Taliban. How many of you know Taliban? America spent billions and billions of dollars, and yet nothing eventually worked. They left it. But now they want to come back because every country around the world wants to leech something from another country. And that is why I said in the jungle, everybody wants to survive. OLAKUNLE. Let's go now back to Taliban and see what is happening there.
In 2020, he negotiated America's withdrawal from Afghanistan. He also set the August 2021 deadline. That deal and that deadline led to the Taliban's comeback in Kabul. So Donald Trump is a known entity for them. Someone who does not look at ideals or values. Instead, he looks at strategy. It is a perfect chance for the Taliban to make inroads to reduce...
Can we push for Yoruba nation and allow Trump to see the importance of what Yoruba will value for America, vice versa, rather than what Nigeria cannot value for America? We can have value. Baba Warij is not doing it. Reagan welcomed the Taliban into the White House. Taliban were Reagan allies. Muki awa ko. Muki gbogbo yin tí ẹ ń gbọ́ wa. 1 hour 27 minutes. The program is just another 33 minutes. Kò ní ju 2 hours long. So let's just focus our mind on ìdí tí Yorùbá ṣe fẹ́ lọ. Òun ni pé a fẹ́ ní good trade arrangement across all countries around the world, where we can have our embassies, where we can have Yoruba people being represented by Yoruba people in another country. I don't think you know what that means. Instead of going to the Nigerian house, you go to Yoruba embassy. And on talk about keep Nigeria, they can keep it, but that building belongs to us, the Yoruba people. Owo Western region, Lofiko, Owo Koko, Lofira rather. Let's go back more.
Their isolation. But what's in it for the US president?
What is in it? Ta lè jẹ́ kí Trump rí pé tó bá fún wa ní support as a Yoruba people ká gba country tiwa. There must be something in it. Kò wá mí pé ká ta birthright wa bó ṣe tà fún Dangote àti BUA tó dominate ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pẹ̀lú àwọn Igbo. Am I making sense? Ṣọ́rọ̀ yẹn ṣó ń jọra wọn àbí mo ti lose plot? I don't plan this program. I sit here and I looked at what I have seen, what I have read, and I bring it and try to narrate it back into ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. So that mo fẹ́ káwọn èèyàn kàn máa ronú pé Fúlàní pa wá nínú igbó nìkan láti fi gba Yorùbá nation. It's bigger picture than that. Ó tóbi jù yẹn lọ. Àwa sọ pé àwọn tó ń pa wá yẹn kò ń ṣe lára ta ṣe náà fi lọ. But imagine that America ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ F-47 fighter jet. It's going to cost them $300 million fún ẹyọ kan. That is like a GDP of many countries, including that shithole jungle. Then pay Nigeria. Taliban toppled them in their past. Now, there is something in it. America, Donald Trump ń tètè rí. I'm sure if as bàbá wa kan ní Koiki, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ sọ fún bàbá Akíntóyè kó communicate pẹ̀lú Donald Trump. Wọ́n ní kò ń ṣe gbogbo nǹkan náà ló máa wà in the open. Ìmí máa wà in the open. Ìtọ́ ṣe ń pè ní diplomacy nìyẹn. Yes, by now ó yẹ ká ti present file wa fún Donald Trump pé sórílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwa náà ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan àjọ máa ní good trade arrangement tó máa jẹ́ balance téèyàn kàn ní máa wá American visa tó máa deny ẹ̀ because ó máa ní Yorùbá passport tó máa gbé dé America. A British citizen doesn't need a visa to go to America. Àbí mo parọ́ èyí tẹ́ ní British passport. Mr. Adebiyi Abiodun Saliu, I also greet you, Mr. Koiki. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Oh, ní need ipò ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ visa. You don't need a visa to go to America. Tábà ti gba country wa because there would not be any reason for Yoruba people to be running out of Yoruba land to go and live in America. But right now, they will. In America, don't lie. Have you seen their update on the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria today? Don't tell lies. If you tell lies, we have your immigration history. Can they help us give us the immigration history of Tinubu? You need a visa to enter US with a British passport. Really? Visa as a British passport. I know you fill a form, but I don't think you need a visa. I know that you fill a particular form, but you don't need a visa. You don't need a visa. I don't think you need a visa. I want to rent to the British passport to Los America. About the comment section. Calculate Mr. Debisi, I visited the UK last year without a visa, likewise UK citizen. And I believe you use an American passport, right? American passport, if you want it. Mama, come fill form con, but come visa. Visa. By the way, the morning program was very informative. Mr. Clement, thank you so much, my brother. All hail Biafra. One love. Moki Lori Twitter. We are just 28 minutes, 2 hours precisely in the programming. I don't think you need a visa as a British passport holder. You will not need a visa, but you will fill a form. Yes, I don't know the name of the form that you will fill, but if you have a Nigerian passport, oh yeah, definitely you have to apply for a visa. I'm talking about a British passport holder, not a Nigerian passport holder. They must apply for an electronic system for travel authorization. That is not a visa. Visa yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ka ìtẹ́sọ nísìnyí. ESTA is not a visa. Visa is different thing entirely. So I hope that clears the air. Because visa ni pé ẹni tó ní kódà mo ti fi ṣe program pé many people are rejected. Kò mí pé torí òun gbé ní bíbá America still reject people. Mo mọ̀ yàn tó fún ní visa tó jẹ́ pé American Nigerian passport ló wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ wọ́n rejected wọ́n fún ní visa. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa fẹ́ lò mí. It all depends. Anyway, let's go back to what is in need for Trump to fi negotiate pẹ̀lú àwọn Taliban. Ǹjẹ́ àwa náà lè push pé kí Trump look into our case as the Yoruba people to fẹ́ Yoruba country ká dẹ̀ negotiate tí bá ní ká negotiate kò ṣe pé ká ta ìran wa. But intesotele ni pé wọ́n need the visa. That's why I challenge you that wọ́n need the visa. So ẹ̀yin ni kẹ́ sọ pé ẹ ti accept pé ẹ̀yin lẹ comment ní tẹ fi síta ni mo fi sọ pé visa kẹ̀ ìbọn lélẹ̀. You said, and I quote, you need a visa to enter US with a British passport. ẹ̀yin lẹ kọ́ wọ́n ní typo ni British passport là ń sọ yìí pẹ̀lú America wọ́n ní good kúkú darling bí mo tẹ̀ tí ìdá Amẹ́ríkà rí mo mọ àwọn tó ti lọ dáadáa kọ́lọ̀ jẹ́ kí èmi náà lè wá sí America. So thank you so much. It was a typo because this is a platform that I don't want to convince anybody. I want people to come here, listen, pick the fact. Whether they agree with the breakup of Nigeria is not my problem, but Fawata agree is our problem, and we have to deliver it, every one of us. So Shegoni for clearing that air. So we move swiftly because we are now 25 minutes. It's 1 hour 35 minutes. This program ends in exactly 2 hours. Usman Wahab ni 1914 amalgamation to expire in 2014, but the Nigerian politicians don't want to listen. I might listen here. The issue between the Biafra and the federal government, the Ijos are also coming up now to say, look, we want to leave Nigeria. So Usman Sokwe, the politician doesn't want to listen because they are benefiting from the one Nigeria, but the separation is the only solution and it will happen in our lifetime. No, Mr. Oyewole, you don't need a visa. We have already cleared that. You will need a electronic something that you fill online, which you will be given anyway. I mean, they will approve it, so it's not a visa. So, you don't need a visa to go to America with a British passport. I am not talking about another citizen that lives in the UK, and I'm not talking from Nigeria now. Even from Nigeria itself, I don't know, but I believe from the UK, you will not need a visa, and vice versa. If you're carrying a British passport holder anymore, so resident permit because a lot of people don't know the difference of all these. This is part of what I should be doing to educate people, but by the time you start that kind of program now, oríṣiríṣi message, Mr. Koiki, báwo la ṣe máa dé bíbá, and I don't have any time here, ìjàngbara la gbé dání, and I don't want people to come and be bombarding me with àfi wá sí UK, àfi wá sí America. So people talk about immigration. There are many of them on social media. I can talk about it. I've lived there enough to know because I've gone through immigration, but it's not something I like to talk about so that it doesn't mix up and confuse us. Yeah, I can be talking about it once in a while in the program, but it will just mix up a lot of people's head. I really do. I will foresaw a time when the people, especially the youth, whom these leaders have long neglected, will rise to demand their right and free themselves from the grip of the greedy politician, and that is the time that we are right now. But many Yoruba people would need understanding kini ẹ̀dá ara ṣe lọ́kàn wò pé bí àwọn ilé tó fẹ́ dà lóru kí ló ń fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ má dá wàhálà lẹ̀ ẹ má dógúnlẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni kankan tó dógúnlẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ what is in it for America tó fẹ́ padà ní kódà America náà wọ́n fẹ́ any intermediary wọn tẹ́lẹ̀ was Pakistan. America, according to Donald Trump, wants to deal directly with the Taliban. Ó fẹ́ mọ ibi tó wù ẹ́ fẹ́ lọ, ó fẹ́ mọ táwọn fẹ́ ṣe. So I believe that this time around, that is my belief. I might be wrong on this. This is just my belief that this is the best time to push out more with this change of government in America with the Republican in power. I don't know whether you all align or agree in that direction. Not that Pomafuni country wow, but it's just a good time because the uncertainty around the world now is at our own advantage. And I'm going to be doing a bit more program around these. Advantage lo jẹ́ fún wa pé ìjọba change ní America. Though more interest America pẹ̀lú Nigeria. And what is their interest? Issue visa. They are building the biggest embassy in Africa in Lagos at the Atlantic. So they might have some other interest, partnership, no money. But if our Yoruba, under the leader of Abakitoye, Taba presents the case for Trump. Because right now, Trump will understand to in the UN. America, they don't fund the UN. Trump ti gbé wọn kúrò nínú World WHO ó ní olè ní wọn. So àwa náà gbogbo yẹn nísìnyí àwa náà máa fi gain ground. And especially Trump is now being told to put a searchlight. Only if he searchlight sí Nigeria kó má agree pé kí Nigeria kó break. Tàbá push out ní síta jáde fún night vigil. Tí Tinubu bá lọ ṣe mẹ́kẹ́mẹ́kẹ́, Trump lè ní kọ́tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ báwọn gbé fáìlì wá báwọn lórí tébù. because one history bí Tinubu ṣe dá America the first time àwọn ọmọ gbogbo dealings tó ṣe l'America, and they can pressure Nigeria to say no, let's come back to the round table. So I don't know. I am just looking at it from that angle. Moki Mr. Damilare Bankole. So let's quickly see why Trump is trying to cut back into Taliban and Afghanistan. And èyí lè máa sọ pé àbọ̀ terrorist ni wọ́n. Àwọn ò ṣe terrorist nísìn. But that's why I said, is there a way that Trump can have sympathy, can look into our quest? Because Britain only look into our quest, but Britain has been given the letter in October, and it's entirely up to Britain to accept, or they will be forced into what they don't want to. Moke must be. So, more all makes sense.
Mainly two things. One, a bulwark against the Islamic State. The US is betting that the Taliban will contain the terror threat. It's like asking the thief to guard the treasure. But Trump is risking it anyway. That is one thing. Second,
I love that point. Mr. Wake Up, Koiki, more doubt it, but Trump will care. That's why I said that is my own opinion. It's not the opinion of Babakito or Igbowo. It's just my own personal opinion. Now, risk. Trump will take the risk of a fee and Taliban. Oh, I might go with that in by. But let me say it in English. It's like Trump wants to use the Taliban to fight back the terrorists. So makes sense, or so Trump fẹ́ fi àwọn the same people táwọn rò pé terrorists ni wọ́n ta rò pé terrorists ni wọ́n according to the America, so fún America ni they are terrorists. The same America fẹ́ wá lo Mr. Waris ní Koiki. That is what they call strategy. Now ìtẹ́ mi wá fẹ́ sọ ní sí ni pé ṣé àwa náà lè lọ ká lo risk níwọ̀n bá díẹ̀ tó kù ní sí ká fi push out fún Yorùbá nation. Ìtí mo kàn fẹ́ lò ń bẹ́ẹ̀ gangan nìyẹn, the risk, because tábà náà fẹ́ take risk. Bá ṣe máa jókòó lè èmi ò gbàdúrà o kó to the next year ká ṣì wà níbi báyìí. Èmi expect pé tó bá máa fi di next year ká ti máa rójú tu pé a ti wà nínú country wa. Bó ṣe wù mí nìyẹn pé ká máa sọ pé this time next year a ti wà nínú country wa. It can be done if we take all the risk now. But they take a risk. Mr. Kunle Azani, our people don't understand by leaving Nigeria. I used to campaign in my working place. They'll be saying we have mix, so it's not possible. Ṣé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ mix yẹn máa sọ fún wọn pé àwọn Nigerians lọ fẹ́ òyìnbó báwo lọ ṣe accept wọn tó ń gbé ní country yẹn. Àwọn òyìnbó tó fẹ́ ní Germany ní Belgium yẹn gbogbo yẹn immigration ni. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́, okay, let me give you this scenario so that you can always take it with you anywhere. Ẹni tó bá ní mo fẹ́yàn kan tó jẹ́ ọmọ Igbo, ẹ sọ pé a máa fún ní resident permit. A máa fún ní ti fún ní passport. Ẹ gbọ́ mi dáadáa. A máa grant ní resident permit. The fact pé ó ti fẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ó ní right sí resident permit to start with. That's all. So kí là ń jà fún àti mix wà láàrin wa. Yes, a gbọ́dọ̀ mix náà nígbà tó yẹ pọ́ kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ ni. Do we take the risk now at this junction, or should we slow down the risk and leave the risk after Tinubu's government in 2031? Because even if Tinubu will restructure Nigeria, as some are arguing for argument's sake, and I've used the word even, E-V-E-N, only meaning, even pé kí Tinubu bá máa ṣe restructure, àmọ́ game plan Tinubu tó bá lọ di 2027 tó bá wọlé tán, because Tinubu máa rig election, forget about whether anybody máa wọlé. Tó bá rig ó lè dá wàhálà lẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn north bá win. But the question is, tó bá lọ ṣe nǹkan tá fẹ́, because gbàdúrà kú fún, èmi ò gbàdúrà kú fún, àwọn kan gbàdúrà pé kó kú dànù. I am not going to pray for that. But we cannot let go now when the coast is clear. For the fact that pé Yorùbá ló wà níbẹ̀, ó fún wa ní at least 0.0%. Mo ẹ fẹ́ rò pé máa sọ pé fún wa ní percentage. No. Ó fún wa ní 0.0. Èmi tẹ̀ fẹ́ jẹ́ kó ṣe the worst case scenario kí ìtàn lè bá pé nígbà táwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ń béèrè fún ẹ̀tọ́ wọn, ẹni tó wà lórí oyè tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá nǹkan báyìí ló ṣe, ìtàn nígbàgbé ẹ̀. Wake up sọ pé when people say we are mixed it's not possible, does that mean we should continue suffering? Ṣètúrò another pointer. Èmi tẹ̀ sọ pé a máa grant wọn ní automatic resident. I am just giving a resident nígbà tó kọ́kọ́ fún mi ní ìwé mi. Wọ́n gbé British passport lé mi lọ́wọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn pé ó yá gba British passport. Gbogbo àwọn tó ní British passport lénìí ẹ lọ bí wọ́n pé kí ni wọ́n kọ́kọ́ gbà kó tó gba British passport yẹn. Yàtọ̀ sẹ́ni tó bí sí bíbá yìí o, irú àwọn ọmọ wa nísìn kódà àwọn ọmọ míì tó bí sí ìlú yìí wọ́n fún wọn ní British passport straight away. Wọ́n á kọ́kọ́ fún wọn ní indefinite stay. Tí parent kan bá ti wá ní British passport tọmọ yẹn ò dẹ̀ ti pé 18, ọmọ yẹn automatically become a British citizen. So gbogbo argument afẹ́yàn kan àti bímọ fúnra wa gbogbo yẹn gbogbo àwáwí nìyẹn. Àrólé ní ogun ni Tinubu fẹ́ dá sílẹ̀ if there will be an election in 2027 because he is going to rig the election and àwọn náà tó dẹ̀ nígbà wọ́n dẹ̀ máa pa àwọn èèyàn wa ní òkè ọya lọ́hùn. Ṣé kò dáa ká take risk yẹn nísìn dan ká lọ dúró pé kí Tinubu náà fẹ́ lọ ṣe election òun máa ríga rẹ̀ wọlé? Bàbá ríga ni èmi mọ̀ yẹn. Mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ pariwo, mo ti fẹ́ parí program ẹ rí pé mo ti calm látàárọ̀. Mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́rọ̀ Tinubu kó jẹ́ kí n tún máa gbé òun lọ sókè. Ìyá wa Ọlájíire Kókà ni, does that mean we have to adopt Tinubu as our own? We don't have to adopt him because he does not believe in Yoruba nation. But àwọn kan sọ pé ọmọ Yorùbá ni, àwọn kan ní kò ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá. The argument is ṣé ká take risk yẹn ká jáde tán nísìn àbí ká fi sílẹ̀ kí Tinubu lọ contest ní 2027 tí àmọ́ tó lè lọ ṣẹlẹ̀. We have 2 years window to play now. I hope argument is so right. So I am not here to say ká adopt Tinubu. What I am saying is that should we take the risk to push out now, or should we slow down and allow the game táwọn máa play, táwọn game tó fẹ́ play ní 2027? That is something that we will still elaborate more, but because I am winding down, I have 13 more minutes. Bishop Adesina, how mixed are we? We have our landmark recognized. No, in tó ń sọ ni pé ẹni tó fẹ́ Igbo, ẹni tó fẹ́ Hausa, níbo la máa tì wọ́n sí? That is the argument of those that do not understand how a country works. And I understand that. Àwa ti gbé abroad, a ti mọ̀ pé these are immigration issues. And like I said, when the United Kingdom were leaving the EU, when the UK were leaving the EU, aláwọn ọmọ EU tí wọ́n gbé níbí báyìí kò ṣe pé wọ́n fẹ́ British, but they have the right to live here under the rules of European Union. But agreement tí UK sọ fún àwọn EU ni pé lóòótọ́ a fẹ́ pull out, but àwọn ọmọ yín tó bá fẹ́ dúró síbí báyìí a máa guarantee ẹ̀. Immigration will handle all those grey areas. Ẹ má jẹ́ kó máa sọ fún yín pé a fẹ́ Igbo, a fẹ́ this, a fẹ́ Calabar, kí ló máa wá ṣẹlẹ̀. No, ohun ẹ̀ ló lọ fẹ́ wọn, but immigration will deal with that area. That is even the least problem that we should worry about. I'm talking from fact. Bàbá mi Lukman Ọláìdé, mo fi tó Elédùmarè mo fi kí yín, a kú àbájẹ́ ìní àwọn àtàgbàwẹ̀. Èmi náà gbà orí mi tí mo mu tíì àti cinnamon bun. Nígbà tí mo ní babaláwo ni mí láàárọ̀, mo ti di Muslim ní alẹ́. Babaláwo ni mo ṣe láàárọ̀. Nígbà tó fi dálẹ́ báyìí mo ti di ìyá mi kan tẹ̀ send owó pé kí n fi ṣe owó Ramadan. A ti fi parí ètò yòókù díẹ̀. Ẹ má ti lọ. Mr. Adébáyọ̀ mo kí ẹni tí ìbá dárúkọ ẹ má fi ṣèbínú, mo ò fojú pa yín rẹ́. Gbogbo yín náà ni important people. Mr. Ogunṣẹ́gun ní Mr. Koiki láti France lọ sí US pẹ̀lú French passport kò need visa. Okay. Tí France ò bá need visa, then British passport ló máa need visa. No. so àti clear ẹ lórí ìyẹn ṣe gan ni Azeez Bello mo kí yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Mr. Fatai ni more wisdom Mr. Koiki. So let's come out quickly and complete this rest of the 13 minutes. Mo rí kọ́mẹ́ǹtì ìyàwó Ọlájúre lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo fi padà síbẹ̀ wọ́n ní we have to put our best foot out and mo kíyà mi Dairo wọ́n ní we have to take the risk now or never. Yorùbá tẹ́kọ̀ yìí ó pọ̀ fún mi díẹ̀ Mr. Adé Boboye ìwé ìgbélú máa wà oh yes ìwé ìgbélú máa wà ṣé tẹ̀lé gbogbo yẹn small do nìyẹn immigration policy nìyẹn is one of the most easiest parts. Glory plays up is Tinubu greater than the population of Yoruba race? The risk is better now. So it seems that everybody agree as we are winding it down on this platform tonight. Cherikpo calm, ó educative, àrí ọgbọ́n kọ́, a sọ̀rọ̀ nípa trade, bí a ṣe lè trade pẹ̀lú the rest of the world in our own sector. Our grace ni is either now or never. Everything in life is a risk. I believe that we need to take the risk now. And that is why we pray that Baba Akintoye in no time more less tí kò ní pẹ́ mọ́ will announce officially for us to come out and defend why we want our country. We can use many countries as an eye mark. Protest in lọ́wọ́ ní Turkey bí ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn. Bí tọ̀dọ̀ ṣe wá ṣe máa lọ, nobody can say. But we just have to prepare for everything. Just in case. Mo kí àwa Táíwò Kíkẹ́fà sọ mi, Mr. Emmanuel, wọ́n ní well done sir, much wisdom. Ẹ ṣé gan ni, Ọlọ́run ló fún wa. 8 minutes to the end of the program. Baba mi wake up call ni Tinubu is just one man. He should not be the person to determine our future. I totally agree. I cannot disagree with that. Those of you watching us on the Twitter space, on the Twitter, which is X, thank you so much. Mo kí mọ̀ sí mi dáadáa. Mo kí àwọn wife mi, mo kí àwọn ọmọ Oòduà, mo wá kí gbogbo yín ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. If you have never been involved in the last 4 years, this is the time I beg you to get involved. This last stage, so that history can be able to remember every one of us. The risk is worth taking now, because we don't even know what the ex-military general from the north are planning and cooking on a daily basis with their foreign and local and other Africans against the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We don't know. So Yomo Yoruba, àsìkò yóò ń ṣe àsìkò. This is the time that we need to push everything within our capacity. We must not be tired. We must not give up. And we must not be distracted. Àti sọ̀rọ̀ ti bàbá ti bí yẹn, èmi ò ní mẹ́nu mọ́, I moved on. I don't want anything to lose our focus. Tí a lè torí ẹ̀ kó dá Yorùbá nation dúró, àwọn kan ti ṣe jòun lọ. So this is something that we need to encourage ourselves, that the time is now. Your Koikimedia, this is your 3rd time online today. No, I think it's the 2nd. It's not the 3rd. The first one was just a very long one. It's about 4 hours, 30 minutes. Ẹlòmíì ṣe wo yẹn lọ́wọ́ olùmọ̀bẹ́lẹ̀ níbẹ̀ ni. So mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń lo program wa náà. Do not mix my program and put a title that favors you. I am happy that everybody is using my program, but I expect you to also help me to tell your listeners to support Koikimedia. Kó fún wa lówó, kó support wa. Ẹ má kọ́ tìbí tí bá ti ní kó fún wa lówó yẹn, ẹ jẹ́ kí yẹn náà kó flow mọ́ program yín. Àwọn tí mò ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ yé wọn. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. If we have the strength, we'll come back for our late night. If otherwise, it will be another day. Maybe some of my staff will be coming out. I don't know what program they have. èmi kọ́ ni mo run program tiwọn. We have 25 staff. We need you to support us so that they can be on air. I think she English and she Yoruba. In terms of the news update and all that. And we are still planning to see what more we can do to enhance ẹlòmíì ó lè jẹ́ news yẹn nìkan ló kàn máa gbọ́ kò ní mọ̀ pé Koikimedia Yorùbá Nation ló ń ṣe á ti wọ̀ lára tán á kọ̀ lọ bá mi pàdé á kọ̀ ní so bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ló ń gbọ́ program and because mo send the link yẹn sí audio yẹn sí yẹn kan ó náà ní kankan fi pẹ̀lú no ẹ má ẹ̀ka sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. We still need to continue to talk about what is happening, but as you know, this platform is 100% for self-determination. Danilo Idemokel, I think one of your boy comes out today. Yes, okay, that is going to yes. You can start what you did. IT upload video and show the YouTube. Koikimedia YouTube, I believe by end of this week, God's willing, it should be back. Eshe gonna Rolio Dudua. Tinubu Tilule, we must act now before it is too late. Yawa Olajire need to be for Yoruba 3 things must be done. We are about to sophomore only 4 minutes. Moki Mr. Kunle Azan. Moki gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ kọra wà nísàlẹ̀ program yẹn tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa. Yawa Grace only remember that Baba is 90 years old. Let's take the risk now. I'm tired and ready for anything anytime. And ilé ìgbẹ́ni kankan wọlé ó máa take me out of my time. Whoever have sent that request should have come through earlier than now. Mo dẹ̀ fi stick to the 2 hours. Ẹ má bínú mo fi kò ṣe pé mo fojú pa yín rẹ̀ jẹ́ ẹ má bínú sí mi. Àmọ́ dẹ̀ fi lọ báyàwó mi kiri kájọ wà nísàlẹ̀ kájọ máa ṣe mommy and daddy nísàlẹ̀. I'm just joking. I gotta go downstairs and so that at least mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí Mr. Adetola mo kí yín mo kẹ́yìn yan wa. Thank you those of you that are listening. Àwọn kan listen. But we'll act on it because they are still in doubt. Igboho kọ́ ló fẹ́ di president yìí kò ní sí tyranny nínú ṣé mo ṣóyìnbó yẹn right dictatorship. We will run things in accordance. You will have a better life, I can assure us all. The template is there already. Kò ń ṣe diaspora ló máa wá run ìjọba fún yín. You all and every one of us will run the government. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tóbi gan. Going to Ekiti, I mean, this is like a refresher. I'm like, wow. Mobolo Shikewa with the vast amount of land. Left, right. We can open up more corridor. We are 3 minutes away or less than 2. Left, right. We can open better corridors. Rail passing through, fast train, boom, 30 minutes, Otigbeinde, Kwara, Edition Tefeshe, bam, Ututu Padawa, Olosogun State ni, network, connectivity, oh my Lord, there's just too much that we can think of. But the first thing is, Akoko Godo, pull out and take the risk. And I believe the risk will take us to where we want to go. Ishewa funlewa, forile yibiwa, kagbega faleri ìgbàgbọ́ wà ní pé bàtìbẹ́rù làbọ̀ mọ́ ká ṣiṣẹ́ kájọlá ìṣọ̀kan wa tó òmìnira ní kẹjẹ ká máa lépa ìtẹ̀síwájú fọ́pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára ọmọ odò àdìdé bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Mo fojú pa yín rẹ́ o èyí tèmi lórí Mixlr. I know you are there, Ogumola. Freedom is sweet. White Lion, please. Oriyomi Hamzat can be one of the DOS. Just my opinion, please. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And you also say, God bless for you always. A wonderful evening. Emmanuel Peter to end it in just few seconds says, everything in life based on risk. We need to take the risk now. I mean now. Mokiyawa Joshua, Baba Joshua, and Mubadu Yisa. Yawa Lajire Kuka will be the last comment. She says, and I quote, you must love Yoruba land, must be loyal to Yoruba land, most importantly, must love Yoruba people unconditionally. God bless Yoruba people. God bless you all. And from here, it's my studio. Bye for now. Video. Boke, sister me, Arewa Kikonju, thank you so much, every one of you, Mr. Benga, Omola, Mr. Ogundipe, and anyone that is there that I cannot see. Thank you. God bless us all. Bye for now.